What is up, guys? Kid Kritic is back with a 9th episode of the Kid Kritic Mvie Podcast, where we're talking about movies and all that other fun stuff, and only if we had something to talk about. I mean, it's not like anything big or huge came out of the movie world, but there's been some Spider-Man drama. D23 did happen. Some Uncharted news happened. And little rumors about a Joker sequel. And that's probably it. That's probably what we're going to talk about on today's episode. So, yeah, I think that's what we'll talk about for today's episode of the Kid Kritic Mvie Podcast. Not too big. And we could have had more movie news. But you know what? Whatever. Let's just start that Kid Kritic intro.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Bond.
Up in the sky, it's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Hasta la vista, baby.
Say hello to my little friend!
Here's Johnny.
What is up, guys? Kid Kritic is back with the 9th episode of the Kid Kritic Mvie Podcast, where we talk a bunch about movies and a bunch of other fun stuff. And boy, do we got a packed house today. And let's just get started. So last weekend, like I said before, I went to go watch Star Wars A New Hope with a live symphony. Now, I've never seen Star Wars A New Hope or any Star Wars movie like that, so I was definitely excited to go see it, and it was tons of fun. First of all, I've said this before, but watching any movie with a crowd, even if it's a classic movie, that makes it even better, because when you're with a good crowd, it just livens it up, and it just makes it an even better time. And boy, was it a great crowd, because spoilers if you have not seen Star Wars A New Hope, which it just, whatever. But the part when Obi-Wan and Vader face each other and they pull out the sabers, everybody pulled out their lightsaber, and it was glorious. And then the scene where Luke lights the lightsaber for the first time, when he lights Anakin's lightsaber, everybody lighted their lightsaber, and it was glorious. Every time somebody lighted a lightsaber, everybody else in the crowd lighted their lightsaber, and you may think, oh, that's annoying. It was not annoying. It was amazing. It gave me chills. It made me love A New Hope even more, and it was just such an awesome experience. When Vader came in, everybody was like, oh! It was just so much fun. When Obi-Wan came, it was awesome. When Luke hopped on screen, it was just such a fun time, and if you guys have not gone through that experience, I definitely recommend it. It's so much fun, and easily one of the best Star Wars experiences I've ever had. Now, I also watched a movie last week. I meant to talk about it last episode, but I forgot. So I watched A Good Time, and with Robert Pattinson, our new Batman, which is the reason why I watched Good Time, and I heard it was amazing, and I hear he's amazing. I've never seen any Robert Pattinson stuff, even the Twilight movies, and I'll probably never watch those. So I watched Good Time. The movie's awesome. The movie's really good. It's on Amazon if you guys want to check it out, but he is amazing in the film as well. Robert Pattinson has some acting chops. He is phenomenal in Good Time. However, there's not like Bruce Wayne isms that he has to portray in the movie. It definitely makes me a lot more excited that he's our new Bruce Wayne, because I get to see more of his acting, and I'm down. I'm honestly just down for him as the new Bruce Wayne. Even though, I don't know how he can portray Bruce Wayne, because at least in what I've seen, he hasn't been required to portray Bruce Wayne or even a Batman. There's moments here and there, but not really, I'd say overall. But the movie is awesome. It definitely excites me more that he's our new Bruce Wayne / Batman. So the movie's awesome, so definitely check it out if you haven't checked it out. But something else that I checked out last weekend, it's a new show on HBO called The Righteous Gemstones, and I didn't know the show until like the day of it was coming out because I saw a commercial of it. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. I mean, you have Adam Devine in there, you got John Goodman in there, you got Danny McBride in there. I love those three. I mean, those three started off in comedy and are actually still in comedy, but I just love all three of them. And the show, it's hilarious. The show is absolutely hilarious. And as I was watching the show, I'm like, wow, HBO actually let this show go on air, because there are some things I'm like, I don't know, in the society that we're in, some of this stuff could definitely easily offend people, but the show is absolutely hilarious. Just the back and forth between Adam Devine and Danny McBride, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's so much fun to watch on the screen. Then John Goodman, who plays their dad, is John Goodman. What else do I gotta say? But the show is awesome. It airs every Sunday at 10 p.m., I believe, but it's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. What is HBO gonna do after Game of Thrones? I don't know. I mean, we've had so many great shows after Game of Thrones. I mean, I either want to watch a show, you got Big Little Lies, Righteous Gemstones, Barry. Right, Barry is an HBO show. Is Barry an HBO show? I don't know. I'll say Barry is an HBO show, but you got great stuff. Chernobyl, but yeah. Great stuff. I love the Righteous Gemstones. Make sure to check it out. Now, if you guys listened to the last episode of the Kid Kritic Mvie Podcast, I said I picked up Avengers Endgame, and I listened to the first 5 minutes of the commentary, and once I was in, I'm like, you know what? I want to watch this without the commentary first. I just want to watch the movie straight on, because I haven't seen it since it came out. And obviously the movie's really good. I love Endgame. But when they talked about the first scene, and spoilers for Endgame, by the way. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the movie made almost $3 billion. How much did it make? 2.7 something? I don't know. But but they were talking about the scene with Hawkeye in the first scene of the movie, and they were talking about how that scene was actually supposed to be in Infinity War. And I was like, wow, that's actually really interesting. And actually, the girl that plays Clint's daughter, I did not know this, is actually, I think it's Joe Russo's daughter, I believe. I did not know that. Maybe she'll be in the Avengers. Who knows? But they're like, and it did, the scene at the end of the day didn't fit in Infinity War. And I actually agree with that, because I don't see, I mean, with all the stuff that happens in Infinity War, I don't see how that fits in. I actually thought that fit into Endgame gloriously. And they also talked about how it kind of made you feel what you felt at the end of Infinity War. And I also agree with that. I'm like, wow, that's a little bit of trivia that I did not know, and hopefully I pass it on to you people. Now, with that said, let's get on to some movie news. So the first thing we got is this Uncharted stuff. Man, what a great week Tom Holland is having. By the way, he got a new car, so I'm sure it's not all that bad, but whatever. But, so Uncharted loses its fifth director. That is something. That is the Flash right there. But they lost Dan Trachtenberg, I believe is his last name, who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie's amazing. 10 Cloverfield Lane is phenomenal. I love the first Cloverfield Lane. I put those on par with each other. To be honest, I'd probably even put 10 Cloverfield Lane over it. It is so good. So good. Another John Goodman movie, by the way. But I love that film. So I'm kind of bummed, because I loved what he did with 10 Cloverfield Lane. And I am not totally familiar with the Uncharted games. I've played some of it, and I did have a good time playing it. I played some of the older ones, the first couple of games, and I definitely enjoy it. It could definitely be, if it ever goes into theaters, which I think it will. I mean, I don't know when. I know they plan on doing a young Nathan Drake, but by the time this movie comes out, Tom Holland might be 50 years old. So I don't think he'll be your Nathan Drake, but I do think this movie will play in theaters. And once this movie once this movie is finally on the big screen and it's executed right, I think this movie could be our next Indiana Jones, basically, because when you play the games, it definitely has that vibe. I mean, it definitely has that action-adventure vibe, and I'm pretty bummed about this, because, again, I really like the director. I enjoyed the Uncharted games, even though I'm not too familiar with them, and you also have Tom Holland in there, so, I mean, it kind of stinks. So that's it for the Uncharted business. So, but another movie that might get a sequel You guys ready for this? Joker, that is right, folks. Joker is might get a sequel. So there was an interview with Todd Phillips, the director of the film, and he says, "One thing I will tell you, I would do anything with Joker any day of the week. There's nobody like him. If he was willing to do it," talking about Joaquin Phoenix, "and if people show up to this movie and Warner Brothers came to us and said, you know what, if you guys could think of something, well, I have a feeling that he and I could think of something pretty cool." Now, with any movie, there can be a sequel. I mean, look at Aladdin. Nobody thought that movie was going to get a sequel, and lo and behold, you're getting a sequel. But Joker isn't a movie that comes to mind when you talk about sequels. I mean, look at even Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, yes, he looks amazing in the film. Yes, the movie looks brilliant. But I don't know if he'd come back for a sequel because he just does not seem like that type of actor, like a Daniel Day-Lewis or something. But I would be so down. I mean, the movie looks fantastic. I cannot wait. It is my second most anticipated movie, just behind Rise of Skywalker, and that's a Star Wars movie. I am so hyped for this movie. Man, you got 2 clown movies. One we'll talk about pretty soon. But I am so excited. And if they were to make a sequel, and if this movie pans out to be really good, and if they were to make a sequel, count me in. Count me in. Unless this movie ends in a way where I think you don't need a sequel, but we've had lots of movies before where we didn't think we needed sequels, and the sequels came out, and they were great. I mean, look at The Godfather. The Godfather had a sequel, and it's great. People say better than the first one. I don't know. I mean, they're both fantastic, but that's a debate for another day. But like I said before, if this were to happen, yeah, that would be pretty nice, especially if this movie is as fantastic as I think it will be and as I know it will be. So another clown movie. That's right, another clown movie coming out pretty soon. I'm seeing it in 2 weeks, a day less than 2 weeks, called It Chapter 2. This is my third most anticipated film of the year. It's titled Dr. Sleep, another horror movie. But I am so excited for this. I mean, the reactions come out. I'm definitely going to read some of these, but the reactions came out for It Chapter 2. The review embargo has not come out yet, so there's no reviews yet. Either though, I mean, you see these reactions and they're practically reviews. I mean, they really are, just like summaries of their reviews, whatever. But, so, the first reaction coming from Eric Davis, it says, It Chapter 2 is a terrific companion to It Chapter 1. Similar vibes, great ensemble chemistry with a nice mix of humor and horror. Part 2 plays heavier in tone, dealing with defeating the burden of childhood trauma, and definitely teared up at the very end. Bill Hader steals it. That's definitely the common theme throughout these reactions, and I'm pretty hyped because I love Bill Hader. It Chapter 2, coming from Kate Gardner, It Chapter 2 is an amazing look at friendship and trauma that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. Bill Hader and James Ranson absolutely steal the show. I cannot wait to see it again. Chris and Evangelista says, It Chapter 2 has a rushed, clumsy first act and an odd lack of chemistry among the adult losers, but it eventually finds its footing. This is a big movie, a go-for-broke horror blockbuster, not afraid to make weird choices. Bill Hader steals the show. And something about horror blockbuster, I totally agree with that, because even though I have not seen the movie, this movie is practically a blockbuster. I mean, first of all, it made a buttload of money. And I don't think we've ever seen a horror movie in a long time that people are just so excited for as It Chapter 2. It's insane. I definitely agree with that blockbuster thing. Clayton Davis says, This film does expertly marries fear with childhood emotions, has one of the year's best cast ensembles, definitely has a great ensemble. Chastain and Hader are just tour to... I cannot speak. Chastain and Hader are just tour de forces, just as ambitious as it is frightening. The horror saga boasts fun entertainment and lots of chuckles. Well, that's pretty cool. Haley Fouch says, It Chapter 2 is big and ambitious and can't quite handle the weight of its aspirations, but it's still a fine piece of heartfelt horror. The parts that work really well, and Bill Hader is every bit the scene-stealing standout as we all hoped he'd be. So I'm going to read a couple more, probably like 4 more. So, let's see here. Paul Shirey writes, really enjoyed It Chapter 2, which serves as the perfect bookend to It Chapter 1. Some great shocks and scares with the young and old cast. Bill Hader absolutely steals the movie, which balances heartfelt emotion with creepy jump scares galore. I'm sure there's going to be some of those. For the most part, I liked It Chapter 2. First half of this movie, pretty long movie, is great, and the new adult cast is stellar. Second half isn't as tight, and overall, It Chapter 2 isn't as tight as the first movie. William Bibiani says It Chapter 2 has some excellent set pieces and a few great performances, but it's also got big problems. It's very contrived, the jokes get in the way of the scares, and it relies too heavily on flashbacks about the kid losers instead of developing the the adult versions. Well, I mean, that's interesting. So the last one I'm going to read here comes from Juan Upon a Time in Hollywood. That is a great username. So everything that's awesome and imperfect in It Chapter 2 comes straight from the novel. The horror in this one is way more brutal. Awesome. A leaner adaptation would have solved this repetitive loop in the third act. Cast is great, the direction is impressive. Very good, but not great. So overall, the consensus is it's good. It's a good movie, not as good as the first one, but it's definitely a good, solid horror film that you'll have a great time with. That's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, there's some that say it's a clunky mess. Some said that it's too long. Some said that it relies too heavily on flashbacks. And yes, some of the kids went back to shoot new scenes. And I'm kind of worried about that, to be honest, because this ensemble cast looks really good, and I enjoy some of the newcomers in the trailers. So, I mean, yes, I'd love to see the kid actors come back, but it's the adults' time to shine. I mean, you had your movie. But, I mean, we'll see. I've never read the book. I mean, if I was to start reading it now, I doubt I'd get through it, because, I mean, that thing is as long as, like, the Empire State Building. But I like the reactions. I don't love the reactions. Just how like they like the movies, don't love the movies. And I have not sky high expectations. Cause I never go into a movie with sky high expectations, because then you have a higher chance of being disappointed. I have solid expectations for this movie. Like, I'm just expecting a great Pennywise movie with a great ensemble cast. I'm sure we'll have a great chemistry, and it'll be tons of fun. That's what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm kind of getting. Bill Hader's definitely a common theme through this, which is awesome. I hear Pennywise is really scary, so that is also really cool. Some scares. I also heard the CG isn't as good in this movie, which, I mean, I'm not too big on that, because I mean, what movie did I just see? Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That also had that issue towards the end of the movie, and to be honest, it kind of ruined some of the scares. So hopefully that doesn't happen in Chapter 2. So overall, I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, some people said it's mixed. I'd say it's not as mixed. I said more people enjoy the movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to It Chapter 2. It comes out September 6th. Of 2019. That's right, folks, less than 2 weeks away. Now, something that doesn't come out in less than 2 weeks, in fact, it comes out way longer than 2 weeks, and that is The Morning Show. It is a new series on Apple. What's it called? Just Apple streaming service. I was about to say Apple Plus. I don't know. But it's going to be one of the first shows on the Apple streaming service, and it stars Jennifer Aniston, who I love, Reese Witherspoon, who I also love, and Steve Carell, who I adore. I love Steve Carell. And I watched the trailer for this, and I really like the trailer overall. I think the premise sounds really cool. Everybody looks great in the movie. Billy Crudup in there as well, and I love him. And I mean, the trailer, while I did really enjoy it, it's not like, oh my god, I need that Apple streaming service right away. I mean, I'm definitely going to see a lot. I need to see a lot more before that. But I mean, it looks like a pretty cool trailer, and I'm definitely curious to see it. If I hear good things, I mean, I'll probably wait, because to be honest, Apple needs to come out strong, because you hear what Disney's going to have. You have the Warner Brothers. You have Netflix, which is probably will kick butt for ages. Amazon, Hulu, and so on and so forth. So Apple is right now starting off on a good foot, in my opinion, because I really like the trailer, like the premise. The cast looks great in the movie. it's definitely more of a drama show, I'd say, with some comedy elements in there. So I definitely like that. I think Jennifer Aniston. I love Jennifer Aniston. I mean, she's not the best actress ever, definitely not. I mean, she's a solid actress, I'd say. Reese Witherspoon, it looks good in the show, and Steve Carell. The reason why I love Steve Carell is because he does dramatic roles and comedic roles gloriously. I mean, obviously started off in The Office, which I have not seen. I watched the first couple episodes of The Office, by the way, and I mean, it's alright. I don't love it. I mean, I hear the first season isn't as good, but Steve Carell also has some great dramatic roles, like, I mean, The Big Short, and some other ones. He was in that movie with Emma Stone, Battle of the Sexes, and he was in some other ones, and obviously he also has 40-Year-Old Virgin, and a bunch of other movies, so I do love Steve Carell. So, with that said, let's move on to probably the biggest news story of the week, and that is Spider-Man is probably going to go back to Sony. Well, I mean, Disney and Sony can still make a deal. Now, I did make a video on this, so I'm not going to talk about this for a whole lot. I mean, it will come up when I start getting to the D23 stuff. However, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but if you guys want to see my other thoughts on this topic, go see my video on this Kid Kritic channel. So basically, in that video, I said, I'm like, you know what? I see where both studios are coming from. Disney's like, I want some more of that cheddar, if you know what I mean, because they're like, these movies are having great success, and it's mainly because of us, because the movies are part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because when the Raimi's trilogy came out and the Andrew Garfield films came out, they never even touched $1 billion until they were in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think we should get 50% of that moolah. That's insane. They should not get 50%. Now, I mean, they already get, like, the toys and all that stuff. I mean, it's like, come on. But, I mean, 20 I'd get, but 50, get on out of here. I mean, all this riots and, like, protesting, all these protesting against Sony, it's like, what are you people doing? It's so idiotic and just horrendous. It's like, come on now. And I mean, they can still make a deal. So, I mean, Spider-Man can still be in the MCU. I mean, they still plan on making a third Spider-Man with Tom Holland in there. I mean, what a week for him, from the Uncharted stuff to this. But I'm on Sony's side for sure, because I think Disney's just asking for too much, and I think it's a smart move for Sony just to back off. I mean, because they already have a successful animated universe, and they have the Venom universe going around really well, and they got tons of plans for that, and maybe Spider-Man will end up still be in the MCU, which sucks because it was doing great for Sony because they were getting some stuff from the MCU, some stuff from the Sonyverse, and some great critic acclaim from their animated stuff. So, I mean, we'll see. It was also benefiting Marvel because, you know, Spider-Man helps out the films a lot, and they've been cranking out some good stuff. So hopefully they come together, join hands, you know, get along, you know, and just hopefully something works out. Now, with all that news, the main part of this episode is going to be the D23 stuff. So let's just get into D23 right now. So yesterday, Friday, was the Disney Plus stuff, and so we'll start getting to that. So let's talk about the Marvel. Stuff. So WandaVision, they talked a little bit about WandaVision. Now we already know WandaVision's coming. They announced it at Comic-Con. We even knew before that there was going to be a WandaVision show, but they announced some more details. So they said the tone of this show is going to be partially sitcom and partially like the Marvel tone. Now, I think that's really cool. I love that's going to be part sitcom. Even the music feels a bit sitcom-y, which I think is really awesome. And it's something that you see throughout a common thing that you see throughout all these all these Disney Plus shows and the films, the MCU films. They're starting to have more of a variety and a diversity of films, and also, I mean, even actors. And I think that's awesome because, like I've said before, if you want the superhero and comic book genre to keep on being successful as it is right now, you gotta start making different things, or else it's just gonna be like, oh man, we're gonna get the same thing over and over and over again in a superhero movie. It's just never gonna change. I mean, and they're definitely doing the opposite of that, which is really cool. I mean, we've never seen a sitcom superhero thing or adaptation before, so I am very looking forward to that. And they also announced some other cast members that's going to be a part of the show, and that is Catherine Hahn, who I think is hilarious, so I'm definitely hyped about that. Kat Dennings, who was in the first 2 Thor films. Now, I'm curious. I don't know if she's going to play the same character as the first 2 Thor films, because I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, she's hit and miss for me, to be honest, so I don't know. And then you have Randall Park, who I love. I loved him in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and again, I don't know how they're going to put him into it, so we'll see. Maybe some time travel stuff. I mean, who knows? But I like the news that came out of this stuff. I mean, Kat Dennings, hit and miss. Catherine Hahn, I love Catherine Hahn. Randall Park, I love Randall Park. I love that tone that they're going for, something you haven't seen before, so I'm definitely into that. They talk about Falcon Winter Soldier, but nothing really there. Loki series, nothing really there. So then they announced some new television shows on the Disney Plus. Now the first one they talked about, or the last one they announced, but I'll talk about this one first. So first they announced She-Hulk. Now, if you guys do not know who the character of She-Hulk is, well, I have a summary here to tell you who She-Hulk is. So She-Hulk is obviously it's basically the female version of Hulk. So it's basically following an injury, Jennifer Walters received an emergency blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce Banner, and acquired a milder version of his Hulk condition. As such, Walters becomes a large, powerful, green-hued version of herself, while she's still largely retaining her personality. And in particular, she retains her intelligence and emotional control, although like Hulk, she still becomes stronger if enraged. And then it says, in later issues of the comics, her transformation is permanent. Now, I think this is going to be cool. I mean, this is definitely my lesser anticipated, because we've already had Hulk. So, I mean, I don't really care unless the trailer comes out and it's like, oh, it's amazing. And then the reactions come out and it's like, oh, it's amazing. So, I am like, all right, I'll definitely check it out. But as far as anticipation goes for now, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely interesting. I'm not huge on the She-Hulk character, but I've never read any of her comics. I mean, I don't really read comics anyways, but alright, we'll see. Now, another one that they announced is Miss Marvel, not to be confused with Captain Marvel. Now, I don't know when these shows are coming out, but basically, Miss Marvel, her actual name is Kamala Khan, who is a teenage Pakistani American from Jersey City, New Jersey, with shape-shifting abilities, who discovers that she has inhuman genes in the aftermath of the Inhumanity storyline and assumes the mantle of Miss Marvel from her idol, Carol Danvers, after Danvers becomes Captain Marvel. So this could be really cool. I mean, definitely more diverse characters, which is awesome. I mean, you've never seen a Muslim superhero character, so I think that would be really cool. And I do like this. I do like this character. I mean, I'm sure Captain Marvel will somehow play into that. And I am definitely excited to see what Marvel does with this. Now, the big thing that everybody's talking about is Moon Knight. Now, I don't know much about Moon Knight. I mean, I know like the simple stuff about Moon Knight. He definitely looks a lot like Batman, which, what the heck? I mean, the same colors. What's up with that? But anyways, I mean, what I've seen and know about Moon Knight, I'm definitely excited for. It's definitely one of my more excited of these 3 television shows. Now, they didn't say anything about it, so therefore I can't really say much about the show. So overall, I mean, She-Hulk, I mean, alright, I'll see what you do there. Miss Marvel, I'm definitely excited for. Moon Knight, definitely excited for. Now, that's the Marvel stuff. Now, the Star Wars Disney Plus shows. So, the first one they talked about was the Cassian Andor series. Now, we don't know much. I mean, yes, Diego Luna is going to show up. And it's also going to have K2SO, so it's going to be like a buddy cop thing. but a spy thriller. That sounds really awesome. You have not seen that in the Star Wars universe. And by the way, I did enjoy the Cassian Andor in Rogue One, the Cassian Andor character, and then plus you have K2SO, and I'm sure that'll be tons of fun. The show shoots next year. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars shows shooting next year. There's another one shooting next year as well that we'll talk about right after this one. But I love Diego Luna. He's supposed to be, well, he was supposed to be Scarface, but I don't think that will ever happen. But I'm definitely hyped for this. A spy thriller. Haven't seen that in the Star Wars universe, so I'm definitely excited for. But you know something that we are all excited for? We knew it was coming, and it was only about time that they announced it. And that is the Obi-Wan series starring yours truly, Ewan McGregor. Yes, just absolutely yes. Now, if you guys have not seen the video when they announced Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan, it is chilling, and I wasn't even in the room. They just played that off so well, and again, it shoots next year, and again, if they called it Obi-Wan Lone Jedi, you can say it was all Kid Kritic's idea. So I mean, this was kind of a duh situation. I mean, obviously we're gonna get Obi-Wan. I mean, they've been talking about it for years. First, it would be a standalone movie. I mean, they never confirmed it, but we thought it was going to be a standalone movie. And now we were speculating that it was going to be a show, and now here it is. Now, I've heard so many people say, what about Darth Maul? Is he going to show up? Darth Maul's not going to show up. I mean, that goes against canon. Because if you've seen Rebels, Maul finds Obi-Wan and gets murdered with 2 seconds. I mean, that fight. I remember, that everybody was so excited for that fight, and it was just like, oh, like you blink and it's over. And so I don't think Maul will show up. Hopefully he doesn't, because then that kind of destroys canon. But it doesn't destroy overall canon, but like that part of canon. So I don't think he'll show up. But again, my number one hope is that we see Jabba the Hutt, because I love Jabba the Hutt. Maybe we'll get Is it possible that we can get Boba Fett? I'm thinking about canon here. I'm pretty sure it's possible, right? Because after Revenge of the Sith, the thing is, I don't know how long after Revenge of the Sith. Because we see Boba Fett in the special edition of A New Hope. So depending, we could possibly see Boba Fett in there. That would be pretty cool. And I'm sure Vader. Again, we talked about this last episode. I'm sure Vader's gonna show up. So, yeah, I'm definitely hyped for Obi-Wan. And, yeah, you are for shizzle that Ewan McGregor is back. Now, this was easily the highlight moment of this panel. And that is The Mandalorian. This Mandalorian show. I'm telling you, I am so excited for this show. This show looks utterly fantastic. This trailer is Star Wars meets Unforgiven meets Logan meets beautiful artwork in front of Kid Kritic's eyes. It looks so good. So good. There's beautiful set pieces in this trailer, by the way, that they showed. It just looks so, there's so many cool shots. Every part of this trailer is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The shot where the stormtrooper helmets are on spikes, like if it's Game of Thrones. Ooh, awesome. The action looks great. You got Carl Weathers in there. Carl Weathers. And I swear if I see an epic handshake, like in Predator, that'd be so good. So good. I'm so excited. You got Pedro Pascal in there. You got Carl Weathers in there. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm so excited for The Mandalorian. And I said this in my trailer reaction, which, by the way, make sure to check out that Mandalorian trailer reaction. But I said this in my trailer reaction. If somebody were to say that they're more excited for Mandalorian than Episode 9, I'd be like, hey, I don't blame you. I don't know if I'd say that, especially after what I hear of Rise of Skywalker, that the footage that they showed. But I am so excited for this. My excitement is just absolutely through the roof. And this... and this looks like the most R-rated thing we've gotten in Star Wars. When what's his face? When the Mandalorian, I don't know the character's name. I'm sure his name's not gonna be the Mandalorian, But when he's fighting those guys in like a bar or something, and then the guy's running out, and he shoots his gun at the control thing, and then it just closes on him and basically slices him in half. Oh, that was such a great move. I am so hyped for this show, and I'm just gonna keep on saying it. I am so hyped for The Mandalorian. It looks fantastic. Make a ride out of this at Star Wars Land. I mean, they're already working on Season 2, which shows extreme confidence, but I mean, they showed extreme confidence in Rian Johnson as well with The Last Jedi, and look how that turned out. But I am so hyped. So hyped. God. So some other shows that they talked about on Disney Plus. They talked about this Jeff Goldblum. I believe it's the Seeing the World Through the Eyes of Jeff Goldblum or something like that. I am definitely want to check that out because I love Jeff Goldblum. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the video of them interviewing Jeff Goldblum and asking him about Spider-Man. His reaction was golden. His reaction was absolutely golden. I mean, I just love Jeff Goldblum. I think that could be really cool. And this could be, it definitely could have a little bit more variety that you get on Disney Plus. So that could be really, really awesome. You also have this Forky show, which I love. Because, I mean, Forky wasn't my favorite character in Toy Story 4. I really enjoyed his character, though, and I think this can be really cool. I believe Forky asks questions, and the footage that they showed is basically him asking Ham, the piggy bank, about money. That just sounds like a total blast. And you have the Monsters, Inc. show, which I hear instead of making kids laugh, instead of making kids scared, it's making them laugh, which I think could be really interesting. You have this Lady and the Tramp movie, which I did a trailer reaction on. Make sure to check it out. I mean, like I said before, I have not seen the classic. I have not seen the classic original of Lady and the Tramp. However, I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cute. I mean, this looks like something you'd watch around the holidays. Probably have a nice time. Drink a cup of cocoa, sit by the fire. I'm sure it'd be a nice movie. And there's a video that they posted of the two dogs that was in the movie, of them basically taking pictures. They look absolutely adorable. And by the way, when they talked, I thought it looked really good. Because while I did really enjoy The Lion King, there's some moments where I'm like, the talking looks a bit off. I didn't have the problem with Jungle Book, but in Lion King it did look a bit off. But in this movie, in Lady and the Tramp, it looks pretty good, but it's just a trailer. So let's move into the other big panel, and that is the Walt Disney Pictures movie panel, not Disney Plus. So let's start off with Marvel. So Marvel was alright. I mean, they kind of said the obvious that I thought they were gonna announce Guardians 3, which we already know is coming. I thought they were gonna announce Captain Marvel 2, which is gonna come, and am I missing one? No, and I think that's it. But they did announce Black Panther 2, however. Duh. It's coming March 2022, obviously directed by Ryan Coogler. And literally, I mean, what was the point? To be honest, I don't even see what the point of this was. I mean, they told us nothing. Literally nothing. I mean, what I heard is that Kevin Feige asked Ryan Coogler, should we show him what the title is going to be? No. Should we show him what the villain's going to be? No. What a great panel, everybody. Oh my god, that was fantastic. That was truly epic. I mean, it's like, really? Really? But whatever. But then they showed some Black Widow footage, and I heard that she has a sister, which I did not know about. So, I mean, not real life, but basically she has a sister in this movie, and I'm thinking, like, what if she's the new Black Widow? Or where has she been? Because in Endgame, when Black Widow dies, and I think Cap asks Hulk, because I just saw the movie, so I remember it very well. And Cap asks Hulk, he's like, oh, does she have any family? He's like, no, just us. Oh, no, Hulk asks Cap, actually. And he's like, no, it was just us. So I wonder where she was. I'm sure she's like undercover somewhere, so maybe she can be the new Black Widow. So we'll definitely see about that. I hear it feels more like a spy thriller movie. And you definitely had that from Winter Soldier, and I'm sure you get that again. So you got a lot of spy thriller going around, from the Cassian Andor series we already had one with Winter Soldier and now the Black Widow movie, so pretty cool. And so that's Black Widow, and then the Eternals. So Jon Snow and Robb Stark are re-teaming in the movie. Yeah, the Stark brothers are back, baby. So obviously Kit Harington was rumored the day before. Oh, maybe he's Moon Knight. or he's obviously not, because now he's in the Eternals, and right now the Eternals just has a great cast going around. But I mean, other than that, nothing else really big. So that's pretty much it for Marvel. So now let's hit into a galaxy far, far away by the name of Star Wars. That is right, folks. Let's talk about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So the poster came out, and my jaw dropped, because this poster is awesome. I get the complaints that it looks cartoonish, but I don't care, because this poster is fantastic. I mean, Palpatine does look a bit cartoonish, but my god, it looks so good. This is something I'd buy and hang up. That poster looks phenomenal, and I hope I get my hands on it, because it just looks so good. Now, they showed some footage at Rise of Skywalker at the Star Wars section, and I hear that Rey is. They show a clip of Rey holding a double-edged lightsaber. That's red. A red double-edged lightsaber, wearing a dark side cloak. A Darth Maul lightsaber wearing a dark side cloak. That is absolutely exciting. Absolutely excited. I started jumping up and down, because that sounds awesome. Now, this is going to be the same situation that we had Last Jedi, where we saw Rey holding Kylo Ren's lightsaber, but obviously it didn't really hint at anything. Now, some people are like, oh, she's probably going to go to the dark side. There's obviously been those rumors. I don't think she will, but if she does, that'll be ballsy. I would applaud J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy for allowing that. I mean, I give a higher chance of Kylo Ren staying in the dark side than Rey transforming into the dark side. I mean, if she does, I applaud Lucasfilm for just how ballsy that move is. And I mean, that would be cool. And the poster, and I hear the footage also basically puts a stamp on the fact that Palpatine is gonna have a heavy mark on this film, which sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good to me, so I cannot wait for The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I'm just gonna be crying throughout the whole movie. I mean, you got Billy Dee coming back. I hear the action is gonna be great. I heard that there's like 50 Star Destroyers like coming in against a rebel fleet, a resistance fleet, and that's it. That is just a drop the mic moment. I am so excited for Rise of Skywalker. Oh my god, it's just great to be a Star Wars fan right now. I mean, after Last Jedi and Solo, you feel the good force coming back. You feel the light. It feels like the end. I feel like if Mandalorian turns out to be great and Rise of Skywalker turns out to be great, it's going to be like the end of Return of the Jedi, where everybody's just celebrating. That's what it's going to be. Now, that's Star Wars. Now let's head on to Pixar. So with Pixar, they have a new movie coming out with Onward that stars Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. So they didn't talk about Spider-Man at all. I know this is not Pixar related, but you'll see. So this is not, so they did not hint at Spider-Man, the drama happening. And at the end, because Tom Holland and Chris Pratt came out, and when they were walking out, Tom Holland was just like, I love you 3000. He's like, I know it's been a tough week, but I love you 3000. And I thought that was a really cool comment for him to make. And so they showed footage of Onward, and I hear it's really good. So that's awesome to hear, but that's kind of it, because, I mean, I have no clue. However, I hear the synopsis is basically, so Tom Holland plays the younger brother, and Chris Pratt plays the older brother. And their dad died before Tom Holland's character was born, and Chris Pratt's character was like a toddler or something like that. And basically, the dad gave, I believe, Chris Pratt's character something that for him to keep until they turn 16, and it basically brings their dad back from the dead, so for one day to spend with Tom Holland's character and Chris Pratt's character, and I thought the synopsis was really cool. And basically, they encounter a problem where like it's just half of him, and they don't know how to get the other half of his body out, which is like crazy. But I'm definitely curious because it's Pixar. Obviously, I'm excited. They haven't disappointed. I mean, except for those two Cars movies, and I didn't see Brave. But other than that, I mean, Pixar doesn't disappoint. They don't kid around here. They don't kid around here. It's not rainbows and sunshines. It's real stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for Onward. They talked about their other upcoming film called Soul, and the cast. I mean, you have Jamie Foxx in there. Who else do you have in there? You got, I believe, Jamie Foxx and a couple of other people that I can't bring up at the moment. So basically, the premise of this, so it's basically about Joe, a middle school band teacher who loves to play jazz, and he dreams of playing at New York's Half Note Jazz Club. And then, as he gets a lucky break, he finds himself at the fantastical You seminar where you get your traits, and he has to find his way back to Earth. I think that sounds even better than Onward. I think this sounds great. I'm sure Pixar is going to delve into themes in this movie that's just very mature themes, which is something Pixar is known for, and I'm definitely excited for it. And by the way, there's an ad on the Hollywood Reporter, because this is where I got the Soul stuff from, and it says that there's an ad that says Barry is an HBO show, so I just like to put that out there. But so basically, Soul sounds great. I cannot wait to see this. And I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Oh, and Tina Fey. That was the other one. Tina Fey is also another voice actor. So I cannot wait to see that. So that's it for Pixar. So on to Disney animation. Oh, and by the way, they also talked about Jungle Cruise, and Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt came out, and I heard they had a good back and forth. I heard the trailers were alright. I mean, we'll see. It's not the first time that Disney developed a movie out of a ride. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, look how successful that was. And by the way, that first Pirates movie is phenomenal. Just like to put that out there. So, now on to the Disney animation stuff. So, the first thing that they talked about was Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, this was something nobody knew about. It's definitely an original thing. Now, let's see here. So, Raya and the Last Dragon. Let's see. Let's pull up the synopsis. So, Raya and the Last Dragon is gonna star Casey Steele and Awkwafina, which, by the way, I just saw The Farewell, and Awkwafina was really good in that, by the way. And this movie comes out next year, November 25th of 2020, but they showed a 3-minute clip of the movie, and it's by the synopsis that Deadline reports that it's an epic fantasy by the cultures of Southeast Asia, and the movie itself is set in a mythical land, and Raya, and it says that the footage previews show lush jungle glistening under sheets of rain and clinging mist. That sounds very magical. And really nothing else. I mean, I heard that basically like the dragons in this mythical world used to be like a huge thing, but then they started to like go extinct until like this last dragon, which I believe is voiced by Awkwafina, basically has to try and get their powers again. And I think this could be a really fun and cute Disney film, so I'm definitely excited for that. So after that, they talked about Frozen 2. Now, I like the first Frozen. I don't care if you're laughing at my face. I liked that first Frozen movie. That is right. I'll let it go forever. I really enjoyed that first Frozen movie. Now, I'm not huge on the Frozen 2 trailers. I mean, they look pretty cool. I mean, they definitely look a lot darker than the first one. And so basically, Frozen 2, I mean, they said that it will focus more on how Elsa got her powers, and more on Elsa and Anna's parents. And I think that could be really interesting. I mean, they didn't really talk much about Frozen 2. I mean, a new poster came out, and it looks good. And overall, I mean, nothing really major I had to say about Frozen 2 other than some more story details. So that's about it for Disney animation, and that wraps it up for D23. And you know what? I think that also wraps it up for Kid Kritic here on the Kid Kritic Movie Podcast. And boy, did that go by fast. I mean, you had some really good stuff at D23. I mean, the Star Wars stuff was phenomenal. From The Mandalorian to Obi-Wan to Cassian Andor to obviously Star Wars Episode 9. And then you got some pretty cool Marvel announcements at the Disney Plus. You have Moon Knight, you got She-Hulk, you got Miss Marvel. I'm definitely excited for those shows. You got the other Disney Plus shows, such as the Jeff Goldblum show, the Forky show, the Monsters Inc. show. So you got a bunch of other cool stuff, and plus some of the Pixar and Disney animation stuff, like the what did I just talk about? Like Raya and the Last Dragon, like Frozen 2, like Onward, and what was the other one? And Soul was the other one. And then they also talked about some of the live action stuff, like I heard they showed some cool Mulan footage, which is pretty awesome. And you got the Jungle Cruise stuff. I heard the new photo of Cruella de Vil with Emma Stone. She looks good in that. And that's about it for D23. I thought it was a pretty good year. They didn't address the Spider-Man stuff, but to be honest, I don't really think they needed to be honest. But I really enjoyed this year's D23, and maybe I'll go next year. I mean, this year, I just didn't feel like going because I didn't want to wait in lines overnight for a panel, to be honest. So with that said, comment down below, what did you think of the topics we covered today on the Kid Kritic Movie Podcast, where we talk about movies and all that other fun stuff. I had a great time talking about D23, some Uncharted news, the It Chapter 2 reactions, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So with that said, follow Kid Kritic at Kid Kritic 1 on the Instagrams, and make sure to like and subscribe at the Kid Kritic channel on YouTube, where you're listening to this right now, and look out for the next episode of the Kid Kritic Movie Podcast, where we talk about movies and all that other fun stuff. And as always, peace.